watching at Selge Field, where tonight the 22 Michigan high school football season kicks off. As a pair of Berrien County rivals get together, it's the Watervliet Panthers and the Brandywine Bobcats on this edition of the 46th game of the week. And welcome everybody to the Martin Supermarkets broadcast booth. Chuck Freeby joined by the Hall of Famer Bo Hunt. Our fellow Hall of Famer Bob Nagel has the weekend off. The Watervliet Panthers were 5-5 a year ago, but Josh Tremblay very excited about what this 2022 season could bring. He's got a lot of seniors, including a potential all-state quarterback in Tyson Williams, who we're both really excited to see.
Yeah, you look at Tyson Williams, 6'5", 200-pound senior, just a great leader for this team, averaging almost 200 yards a game last year, 2 touchdowns a game as well. I mean, you come in here and you look at him and you just see what perfection he brings to the football field, the way he throws, the way he leads this team.
And Josh Tremblay knows that early on in this game, his team will have to find its rhythm.
Well, I mean, we need to find out if, how stout they are against the run, and then we need to decide what their coverages look like and kind of where we need to go. I mean, we can be pretty balanced if we need to, and we can tilt one way or the other if we have to, too. So it's kind of the flexibility we have with our team.
That's a bit of a mystery for Watervliet, because a bit of a mystery really describes Brandywine. They've got a brand new coach in Justin Kinsey, who comes here from South Bend Riley. He's putting in a lot of new things, and he's generated a lot of excitement around Bobcat country.
Yeah, when you look at this Brandywine team, you're going to look at the triple option. It's a new thing that he's brought up here across the state line. And the other thing I talked to him about was the community. I mean, it's his first time coming up here, and what's the difference between crossing that state line and going to a school like Brandywine, a smaller school? And I had a chance to talk to Justin Kinsey about that.
Man, it's awesome. You know, being around football my whole life through my family, this is everything that you expect small school football to be. This community is insane about their Bobcats. The administration has been incredibly supportive. All of these kids are 3-sport athletes. They each do 2 or 3 clubs. They've got 3.4 team GPA. Like, if anybody wants to do a study on the connection between grades and extracurriculars, they got to come to Brandywine, because they could do a study on us.
They say good things come to those who wait. Michigan has waited 6 days. They can't wait any longer. It's time for high school football in the Wolverine State. We've got our Jordan Auto Keys to Win on the St. Joe County Police Department pregame show, and it comes your way next on the 46th game of the week.
This is the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week. Brought to you by Bill's Heating, Health Markets Tony Letcher, St. Joseph County Police Department, Martin Supermarkets, Interra Credit Union, HealthLink, Jordan Automotive Group, TCU, Electrical Workers, Crown Trophy, St. Andrews Products, Imagineering Finishing Technologies, and the IHSAA.
This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you by the Jordan Automotive Group. Simple, easy, stress-free. It is opening night for the Brandywine Bobcats, and Justin Kinsey's team about to take the field with Enter Sandman playing behind them here at Selge Field. That's a way to kick off our St. Joe County Police Department pregame show as we get ready to bring you the Jordan Auto Group Keys to Win. But we'll start with the visiting team, the Watervliet Panthers, who come in here with an all-state candidate at quarterback by the name of Tyson Williams, 6'5", 200-pound senior, threw for 1,700-plus yards last year, 22 touchdowns, completed 63% of his passes. And oh, by the way, he's mobile too. He can run the 40 and 4.7. He's got a big target. And Caden Beerhalter, all-conference basketball player last year, honorable mention all-state in football, 6'3", 185-pound junior with a dandy vertical leap. The keys to win for head coach Josh Tremblay and the Panthers.
The keys to win tonight for the Panthers: discipline on defense. With this triple option that Brandywine runs, you got to be very disciplined and read your keys. You cannot over pursue. Execute on special teams. They feel they have an advantage at that, and they really want to execute. And don't get caught speeding. They have a lot of speed. They really need to use that and don't get caught.
Meanwhile, for the Brandywine Bobcats, with a brand new coach in Justin Kinsey, They really rely on the explosiveness of Mike Palmer, two-way player. He plays the slot and defensive back, 6 feet, 180 pounds, and a senior. And then they need some big guys on the line, and Philip McLaurin fills the bill there. 6'1", 235-pound senior. McLaurin is their best offensive lineman and the top returning tackler from a year ago, and also a terrific wrestler who finished 6th in the state. The keys to win for the Bobcats.
Well, the keys to win for the Bobcats, front four pressure. They really need to get pressure on Tyson Williams up front and really pressure him. Minimize mistakes. They cannot have turnovers, can't have fumbles. Pursue and tackle. It's important that they pursue Tyson and really get him out of his comfort zone and wrap him up, because he's a big player and he can get away from you.
Those have been the Jordan Auto Group keys to win on the St. Joe County Police Department pregame show. Players are lined up for the anthem, and when we come back, the opening kickoff of the Michigan high school football season will be yours on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Intera Credit Union. Excellence, integrity, and invested. Berrien County rivals that have not met a lot over the years. Brandywine leads this series 5-2. First meeting back in 1964. Last time they met, a huge playoff matchup. They're still talking about it here. Watervliet won it 22-21. And the weather tonight, Chamber of Commerce for the city of Four Flags. Temperature 75 degrees, a gentle zephyr out of the southwest at 10. About a 15% chance we may get one of those pop-up showers.
The check on the uniforms for tonight's game brought to you by St. Andrews Products. The home team, the Brandywine Bobcats, wearing maroon jerseys, gold numbers, white pants, and maroon helmets. And the visiting team, the Watervliet Panthers, wearing white jersey and pants, maroon numbers, and maroon helmets. These teams look great, and so can your team. For the finest in apparel and promotional products, contact St. Andrews Products at sales@standrewscorp.com.
Jacob Sherrick is the kicker for the Brandywine Bobcats. The senior has the ball on the tee. And back deep, you've got Levi Getz as one of the deep men. The season underway as Getz takes the kick at his 10. With a big hole up the middle, Levi Getz all the way out to his 40-yard line before he's brought down there. So a great kickoff return for Brandywine. To start the season, Gavin Schaff made the touchdown-saving tackle. And there you see Tyson Williams, the quarterback of this Watervliet squad, getting the ball back to Brandywine. Williams, the 6'5", 200-pound senior, all-conference in 3 different sports last year: football, basketball, and baseball.
He couldn't do any other sports. That was the only reason why he didn't let her be all-state in any other sports.
Handoff is coming right up the middle for Watervliet, and still on his feet is Owen Epple, the sophomore, 5'9", 155, picks up a first down. Let's meet that Watervliet starting lineup. It's brought to you by the Flower Basket and Next Door Events. Williams will have Beerhalter as his favorite target. Wyatt Epple moves out to wide receiver with an injury to Jacob Schaefer. Royce Doherty anchors an offensive line. He is 6'3", 300 pounds and a senior. And they'll hand it off again to Owen Epple, and Epple dragging tacklers with him for about a 4-yard pickup that time. The stop made by Brock Dye as we get a chance to meet the Brandywine defense, brought to us by Brandywine High School. Along the front line, Gavin Schaff, a solid defensive tackle, a senior. Philip McLaurin, the leading returning tackler. Young linebacking core headed up by Jake McCubbin, the senior, and the corners will get tested tonight with Reith and Heath. And Williams about to throw on 2nd and 6. Flag on the play, wide open down the sidelines. Touchdown, but will it be called back?
Yeah, I believe we got a holding call right from the start. Yep, there it is. Holding call right from the start. And Tyson Williams didn't even move after he threw that ball. He knew it was coming back, but what a pretty ball that was.
Sorry, Chase Tremblay, your first touchdown of the catch is negated. And instead of having 6 points on the board, the Panthers will be looking at a 2nd and 16 here. You meet our officials for tonight. That's Steve Petlick, the referee. He's working with Jeff Rudloff, Jim Foster, Tom Rivette, and Don East. And as always, whether we're in Indiana or Michigan, the call goes out for officials. More are needed for the great sport of football, and actually all the high school sports out there, because there is a shortage on both sides of the state line. That winds up being a 15-yard holding penalty. So now it's 2nd and 22. Williams wants to throw. Rolls right, and it's batted in the air and almost intercepted. Jake McCubbin got his big right hand on it, and had he had the presence of mind, he could have run forward and had himself a pick. You'll see it again on the subway of Watervliet and Coloma replay.
Great job of the linebacker just sitting back in that passing zone and really got in the lane there and got a hand up and knocked that down. Almost an interception.
So 3rd and 22. Not sure what's on the wristband for that. Williams again on a screen pass here, and it's set up beautifully. He dumps it over the head to Chase Tremblay, and look at Tremblay get to the outside, and he is dragged down by Michael Palmer at the 40, or excuse me, the 30, but that's good for a Watervliet first down. A pickup of 31 on the play.
What a great setup on that pass play, especially by the line, really holding that for about a half a second. The D-line guys letting them go, really setting up that, and then getting downfield and getting that second block. Great job opening up a hole for that play.
So Tremblay with a 31-yard reception makes it 1st and 10. Goes all the way down to the Brandywine 32 is where they're going to spot it down. Owen Epple, the lone back next to Williams, but it's Williams keeping it himself, and look at the big quarterback get outside, bust a tackle, and get knocked out of bounds after he picks up the first down, all the way down to the 18-yard line, a pickup of 14 for Tyson Williams. We talked about his speed. He shows it here, Bo, on the subway of Watervliet and Coloma replay.
Yeah, it's not just his arm. He's got a little bit of speed as well, and he's got mobility right there, just shedding tacklers, knocking them off with the strength that he has as well. 6'5", 200, it's going to be hard to bring him down.
The snap, and Williams wants to throw. He's got receivers down in the end zone, didn't see him, and now down he goes. He just ran out of time as Doug Hawley comes in and gets the sack. The senior, a member of the wrestling team, gets 2 points for the takedown here.
Yeah, he had the opportunity early on, but he was looking backside, and the pressure got to him too much, and by the time he noticed the receiver was open, it was too late at that time.
It's a loss of 6 on the play. Under 10 minutes to go, first quarter, the opening drive of the season for Watervliet, 2nd and 16. Williams with some good hands there, throws to the outside, finds Wyatt Epple, and Wyatt Epple trying to juke tacklers. A flag comes out on the play, and we'll see what this is all about.
Looked like a little late flag on the holding call out there on the wide receiver. Looked like he drove him to the ground and might have had a hold of the jerseys as he was doing that.
Josh Tremblay wants to know who the penalty was on. And he'll find out soon enough. Justin Kinsey finding out as well in front of the Brandywine bench, but it's definitely against Watervliet. And that's a 10-yard walk-off from the spot of the infraction, so it'll make it a 2nd and 20 here. Line of scrimmage, the 28. They've got to get to the 8. Williams, bad snap, he picks it up, but he's in trouble. Hawley got him again. Doug Hawley gets him for a loss of 9, and you'll get another look from Subway.
Yeah, that was the second snap in a row where it was kind of a little bit of a bad snap. That one actually hit the ground. One before was off just a little bit. It's something that needs to be corrected here early, because if you don't really talk about it and adjust on that, it's going to happen the rest of the game as well.
So now it's 3rd down, and Watervliet is lined up in St. Joe County, Indiana. High snap that time, and Williams will keep it himself. And Williams maneuvering through traffic, finally brought down by Palmer at about the 22-yard line. That's a pickup of 13 on the play, but it will leave them with 4th and 14, and you're kind of in no man's land.
Yeah, at this point, you're really in no man's land. You can't really go for the extra point or the field goal at this point. It's pretty long. And when you got a quarterback with like Williams back there, you might as well go for it.
2 receivers split to each side. Movement along the line of scrimmage, and it might now be a 4th and 9 instead.
Prior to the snap, offsides called on Brandywine.
Tonight's health tip is brought to you by Healthline. Everyone knows you can't play or learn if you don't feel your best. If your child isn't feeling well, schedule a sick visit at HealthLink. HealthLink offers medical, dental, vision, and more, regardless of your ability to play.
All of a sudden, it's 4th and 10. Bad snap again. Williams going to try to make something of it, though. Throws to the end zone. Touchdown, Caden Beerhalter. He was lonely in the corner of the end zone.
18-yard touchdown pass from quarterback.
Wow, we're going to have to see a replay of that. How he got separated.
The replay from Subway of Coloma and Watervliet, and that is just your basic blown assignment.
Yeah. Looked like the closest guy was covering inside, and there was nobody inside.
An 18-yard touchdown pass from Tyson Williams to Caden Beerhalter. Now on to try the extra point. It's Javier Gutierrez. The 5'11", 165-pound senior on the approach. The kick is up, and it is good. Watervliet, 4 minutes and 1 second into the season, has its first lead thanks to their All-State quarterback Tyson Williams. A flick of the wrist, and there's Caden Beerhalter for 6 on 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Bill's Heating, keeping families and businesses comfortable since 1951. So it's a 7-0 Watervliet lead after a 9-play, 60-yard drive that took 4 minutes and 1 second off the clock. They convert a 4th and 10 with an 18-yard touchdown pass, and the Panthers have the lead. Now we'll see if Brandywine can respond.
Yeah, not only on that drive was the 4th down conversion, they had the 3rd and 23 that they converted as well. So a really good series on the fact that they picked up some yards. They really need to work on the penalties and the snaps as well.
Javier Gutierrez does the kicking for Watervliet. Brock Dye and Michael Palmer are the deep man for Brandywine. Gutierrez with a high spinner that Palmer will take. Well, no, he won't. It'll roll right onto the end zone. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line for the Brandywine offense, and its first possession of 2022.
Here to protect and serve our community, St. Joseph County Police Department is hiring immediately. Employment opportunities for high school graduates are available, and they offer a host of benefits and a true family environment on their team. Learn more at sjcindiana.com/employment.
Kevin Roberts was supposed to be the quarterback for Brandywine this year, but he broke a knuckle in a handoff drill. And so now Caden Reith will get the first snap at quarterback tonight. Reith, a 5'8", 135-pound junior, and this is a change from the lineup that we were originally given. Reith will hand it off up the middle, and it's Carter Sabecki on the run that time for about 3 yards, as this triple option offense often difficult to follow. Now, the Brandywine starters brought to us by Brandywine High School. Originally, we were expecting Connor Dye to make his first varsity start, but a change there. Sabecki, the top running back. Michael Palmer, very explosive on the outside. Owen Hewlett, big split end. Offensive line anchored by Philip McLaurin at guard. And it's Reith again, going right up behind his center, Doug Hawley. And Caden Reith picks up 2 that time. And we get a chance to meet the Watervliet defense, brought to us by B&B Grocery. You got a big fella in Royce Doherty right in the middle of that thing. He is an honorable mention All-State player from a year ago. The linebackers are young. Joe Colome filling in for the injured Jacob Schaefer. In the secondary, keep an eye on Caden Beerhalter. You already saw him make a touchdown grab tonight.
The biggest thing with this triple option for Brandywine is you really want to try to pick up about 3 to 4 yards every play. They're okay with that. They don't want to get into 3rd and 5 or longer, and right now they get their first 3rd and 5 opportunity here tonight.
Reith under center, Sabecki behind him. Palmer in motion, but it's Reith pitching to Palmer. Pitch goes behind him, and now Palmer will go back the other way. He's got some room, runs over a tackler, and has the first down and more. Look at Michael Palmer all the way out to the 45-yard line. Pick up a 20 on the play. I told you he was explosive, folks.
What a great play there. And a lot of it, if you look at the Watervliet defense, they over-pursued on that play. You can see the pitch come out, and that backside has to keep containment. You cannot over-pursue because that's what's going to happen with Palmer back there.
Joe Colomb made the touchdown-saving tackle, but it's a pickup of 19 that time for Palmer, and 1st and 10 for Brandywine at the 44. Reith under center. And he hands it off to Sobecki, first man through, and Carter Sobecki plows forward to about the 48-yard line. And that's exactly what you were talking about, Bo. They want those 4-yard gains on first down.
Yeah, you get those 3-4 yards pickup on first down. It makes second and third down a little bit more easier. And with this type of offense, they're okay with that. Chipping away, getting those yards, picking it up, letting the clock run, controlling the game.
Justin Kinsey in his first year here at Brandywine after 2 years as the head coach at South Bend Riley. Reith, not a very big young man, 5'8", 135 pounds, and that's probably soaking wet.
Yeah, you can hide behind those offensive linemen back there.
Sure can, and that's the goal, isn't it? Carter Sobecki gets hit hard at the line of scrimmage and brought down for a gain of 1. Boy, terrific penetration that time by linebacker Carson Underwood, the sophomore who was on the JV last season. And now it's 3rd and 6, and all of a sudden after that really good start, Brandywine looking at another tough 3rd down to convert here.
We want to thank Prime Table for feeding our crew this evening. Stop by Prime Table for their breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and follow them on Facebook, Prime Table.
You didn't seem to have much problem with that chicken sandwich.
Yeah, I did not. Those fries were excellent as well.
3rd down, and a false start there by Brock Dye will cost the Bobcats 5 yards. He just couldn't get into the set position and lost his balance. So now from 3rd and 6, it's 3rd to 11, and that really takes Brandywine out of its wheelhouse.
Yeah, that's really what you don't want to get into. I just talked about you can't get into 3rd and long situations with this type of offense. It's really tough to pick up first downs in this type of situation.
Trainer down here looking at Brandywine quarterback Connor Dye over on the bench and checking out his ankle. Dye was supposed to be the starter tonight. Caden Reith has been pressed into action. Reith pitches to Michael Palmer. Palmer trying to get to the outside. Couldn't do it this time. Caden Beerhalter there to bring him down after a pickup of about 3. And so it'll be 4th down in what would seem to be a punting situation here for the Bobcats with Owen Hewlett, their punter. You get another look from Subway of Watervliet and Coloma at the sure tackle by Beerhalter.
Yeah, the Brandywine Athletic Department wants to wish the Bobcats a great football season. Go Bobcats from the Brandywine Athletic Department.
Owen Hewlett about to kick. Wyatt Epple will be the deep man for Watervliet, and he's going to stand back around his 25-yard line. Good snap. Hewlett 2 steps and gets it out of there, and Epple's just going to let it hit. It takes a wonderful roll for the Bobcats inside to the 15-yard line. So that'll wind up being about a 37-yard kick with no return and a 7-0 lead for Watervliet. Normally at this time, I might think about tossing it downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report with Bo Hunt, but you're right here next to me. Your thoughts on what you've seen in the first few minutes?
I think we talked with Coach Kinsey with Brandywine. It's going to take a little bit of time for their offense to get clicking, especially when they lost their quarterback, and then they have another guy in there that was supposed to start. And with Watervliet, I mean, the way Tyson throws the ball, I was just mentioning it to you just a little bit ago, it's effortless. The ball just slings out of it. He knows how to be patient with it and not overthrow the ball and understand his receivers. I think that's one of the biggest things when you got an arm back there that can really throw the ball. At this level, they have a tendency to overthrow the ball, and he hasn't shown that tonight at all.
No, he's got magnificent touch, even on that deep ball that was called back on the penalty on holding. That was a terrific throw to Tremblay. And Williams wants to throw again. Look at this lob out there for Beerhalter, who makes the catch. Was he inbounds? Yes, he was at the 43-yard line.
Ineligible downfield, I believe. Flag thrown.
We do have a penalty on the play, and nobody's moving. So you called it, Bo, ineligible receiver downfield.
They threw the flag about 8 yards downfield, and it landed right by a lineman. So it was a pretty easy call.
So instead of a 30-yard pickup on the play, you'll see Watervliet moving backwards, and we'll try to pick up this ineligible man downfield on the replay. Kind of tough to do, but look at this nifty grab by Beerhalter, the 6'3 junior. 2 great catches that they've had called back tonight, probably worth about 80 yards combined. 3 penalties, 30 yards for Watervliet so far. Levi gets in motion, but it's Carson Underwood on the handoff, and Underwood trying to get around the corner on the outside. The sophomore cuts it back against the grain and finally tackled by Schaff at the 42-yard line. A pickup of 32 on the play for Carson Underwood.
What a great job of getting the blocks downfield. You see some of these blocks by the wide receivers on the outside. They just did a great job of setting up those blocks and getting downfield.
Gavin Schaff, a 3-sport athlete, had to show his athleticism catching up from behind that time to bring down Carson Underwood, who was on the JV a year ago. 1st and 10 from the 42. It's Levi gets in motion, but it's Underwood on the handoff again. The ball's not heavy, and he'll go forward for about another 4 yards.
What I really like about this Watervliet offense, too, is they're not one-dimensional. They're really trying to mix in the run with the pass and really trying to set the pass up by the run. And a lot of times when you have a quarterback like this, you set the run up by the pass, but they're doing it the traditional way.
You would think the temptation would be there with a talent like Williams to just sit there and play El Paso the whole time, but Josh Tremblay really trying to get everybody involved in this offense. It's been successful so far. Now Williams with a toss, and it's incomplete. He had to put it over the hands of Jake McCubbin, the linebacker, who seems to be reading him well tonight.
Yeah, he got right in that passing lane right there and disrupted a little bit. He had to throw it just over his hand and out of the reach of the offensive receiver there.
Now it's 3rd and 6. But we saw Watervliet convert a couple of these on their first drive for the touchdown. 2:40 to go here in the first quarter. Williams looks right, quarterback draw. Tyson Williams, 1st down and more. Williams into Brandywine territory. Palmer brings him down at the 38-yard line. That's a pickup of 16 and a Panther 1st down.
Here you can see a great replay of a subway of Watervliet and Coloma. And it seems like on 3rd down situations, when they're in a situation where it's 5, 6 or something like that, they go to that play. I've been about 3 times now where they've gotten a situation where they've gone to that quarterback draw play.
I'll tell you, Palmer laid a lick on him that time, though, and Williams looks a little worse for wear out there in the shotgun right now. 1st and 10 from the 38. Trips to the left. Williams pumps, wants to go deep, will go deep. He's going for Levi Getz. Touchdown, Watervliet.
Credit the offensive line on that play. That play took so long to develop, and yes, it was a great pass and great developing play, but the offensive line really giving him time to let that play develop.
A 38-yard touchdown from Tyson Williams to Levi Getz. And Watervliet exploding here in the first quarter with 13 points, and Javier Gutierrez will try to make it 14.
Windy Mitten Properties is proud to support Panther Athletics. Windy Mitten Properties is a local real estate agency serving the Paw Paw Lake area.
Everybody set the snap a little high, but the kick is up, and it is good. 2:24 remains here in the first quarter, and Watervliet has opened up a 14-0 lead on Brandywine behind the big arm of Tyson Williams, who has come in and been as advertised.
Yeah, I mean, just what we talked about earlier, his ability to put such great touch on that football, and it's not like he's really trying to drive the ball through the defender. And a lot of times, like on that last pass play, instead of trying to just let the play develop, a lot of quarterbacks at the high school level would go ahead and throw that play in coverage, and it'd be intercepted at that time.
There was a penalty on the extra point, and it'll be assessed on the kickoff, which is typically indicative of a dead ball personal foul. And the way the official is going, it looks like it might be against Brandywine. We'll see.
The Watervliet Public Schools administrative team wants to wish all their students and student athletes a great school year. Watervliet Public Schools working together to keep us together.
Indeed, it is a personal foul on Brandywine, so the 15 yards will have Watervliet kicking it from the Bobcat 45-yard line. And I realize Watervliet is already up 14-zip. You're going to see the personal foul here on our Subway replay. And take a look at the roughing the kicker here as Gutierrez is up in the air and the helmet gets him in the back of the leg.
That plant foot, if you hit that plant foot, that's what they always call it on, because that's the ability to get injured when you hit that plant foot, because it's really cemented in the ground, and every time that gets hit on that, it's a potential for injury.
It wasn't intentional, but it still nets the 15 yards on the penalty. And now if you're Watervliet, do you think about maybe an onside kick right here and try to stick the dagger in early? We'll see. Gutierrez on the approach, but he's just going to bang this one all the way down to US 12. And it'll be 1st and 10 from the 20 again for Brandywine.
Brandywine will take over on their own 20-yard line. 1st and 10.
Important series here for Brandywine. I know it's only their second series, but they really need to get some momentum, move the ball a little bit, take some time off the clock, and really get some momentum going in this game.
But again, a tough blow because the starting quarterback, or at least the young man that was supposed to be the starting quarterback, Connor Dye, is sitting on the bench with his helmet off and the trainer by him. And so Caden Reith, who about 10 days ago was the third-string quarterback on this team, is all of a sudden in his first varsity start against a big Watervliet defense and down 14-zip. Other than that, it's going great for Justin Kinsey's open. Reith hands it off to Carter Sebecki, and he's met by a wall of white jerseys right at the line of scrimmage. Leading the way that time for Watervliet was Gutierrez, along with help from Wyatt Epple. Pickup of about 2 on the play for Sebecki, but yards have been tough to come by for the fullback tonight. 4 carries, 10 yards.
Yeah, just a couple yards on that first down carry, and we talk about this offense. You really try to get that 3-4 yards on that first down to make the drive a little bit easier.
But at this point, until Reith shows the ability to throw the football, you expect Watervliet to load the box, which is what they're doing here. So Reith wants to get to the outside, cuts it up the field nicely on the option run, and takes it down for a pickup of 3 on the play. And it'll be 3rd and 5.
Second time we've seen the outside option on the play, and the last time, of course, was the cutback all the way back because of the bad pitch. But they had a lot of room on that play on when he had to cut it back on the bad pitch, too. If the pitch was there, he did have some room to pick up the first down. We'll see if they go back to it on the opposite side.
3rd and 5. Certainly when you're trying to learn a new offense, it's difficult anyway. And now you've got personnel that really haven't worked together all that much.
Yeah, and with this offense, you got to know the speed and the rhythm.
It's Sebecki up the middle, quick hitter. He's got the first down and more, dragging Underwood all the way up to the 38-yard line. That's a pickup of 13 for Carter Sebecki and a Brandywine first down.
Pickup of 13 yards. Good enough for Brandywine.
See a nice job of really hitting that hole hard and getting through before the linebackers could close the hole down. And really, that was the key to it. When you are able to run that trap right up the middle of the dive, whatever you want to call in this offense, as soon as you get through, you got to beat those linebackers to that hole. And if you can pick up big yards just like he did.
It helps when you get great blocking, as he did from Philip McLaurin and Joshua Petrola at that time. Again, Watervliet showing a lot of bodies in the box, and it's Reith on a quarterback sneak that just gets back to the line of scrimmage. And that might be the final play of the first quarter.
The Watervliet Athletic Boosters are proud to support Panther Athletics and want to give a shout out to all the fall sports teams. Go Panthers, have a great season.
Brandywine will be happy to let the clock expire here and have some time to think about its 2nd and 10 call when the second quarter begins, because the first quarter was entirely dominated by the Watervliet Panthers, who come down from the northern tip of Berrien County to the southernmost school in Michigan and start flinging the football all over the yard. Tyson Williams first went up top to Caden Beerhalter, then he found Levi Getz, and it's 14-0 Panthers after 1 on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the St. Joseph County Police Department. Join the team and help protect and serve our community. Here you see Josh Tremblay over on the Watervliet sideline. He is also the baseball coach for the Panthers. This is his 4th year as the head football coach, 9-17, but they have had 2 playoff appearances. He was there for 8 years as an assistant coach. You get the chance to thank another one of our fine sponsors.
Tess Scheidler from Goosehead Insurance proudly supports the Brandywine Bobcats. Licensed in Michigan and Indiana, they offer home, auto, life, and specialty lines of insurance. Come see what the power of choice can do for you. Tessa Scheidler.
Brandywine trailing 14-0 as we begin quarter number 2. See the story there on the Intera Credit Union scoreboard. Caden Reith hands off to Carter Sebecki, but then a flag flies right away, and I think there might have been some illegal motion along the line of scrimmage.
Usually see that a lot of times in teams that are really trying to establish themselves from the year before. Is you get some new guys in there, and first week you're going to see some penalties, and that's something that both of you coaches are going to go in at halftime and really probably adjust and make sure that their kids understand that that's something that they need to get better at and improve on.
And we have had 7 flags so far in this game. 4 against Brandywine for 30 yards, 3 against Watervliet. As you take a look at Connor Dye over on that Brandywine bench, and the look of dejection on his face tells the story of his night. He was so fired up to be out here quarterbacking this team tonight, and for whatever reason, it looks like it could be some sort of ankle injury. He is not able to go. So it is 2nd and 15. Sebecki lines up at fullback. It's Caden Reith at quarterback for Brandywine. And Caden Reith tries to keep it on a quarterback sneak. He did hide behind those linemen for a little bit and picked up about 4 yards on the play.
Yeah, one of the things Watervliet is really doing, we talked about them, really packing the box and getting all 8 guys in there in the middle, but they're not only doing that, but they're bringing their linebackers up as well, and so they're really trying to stuff that middle, make Brandywine go to the outside.
It's 3rd and 11. We have not seen Reith throw a pass yet, and you wonder if Justin Kinsey might try to go into his bag of tricks here. If you don't have confidence in Reith throwing the football, maybe there's somebody like Palmer or Hewlett that could chuck it around out there. Hewlett's a pitcher on the baseball team, threw a no-hitter last year to open the season. But Reith is going to keep it himself, and he's only going to pick up about a couple of yards on the play. Shut down there by Underwood and John Riddell. And so 4th down and 9 yards to go, and it would appear to be a punting situation for the Bobcats.
Subway and Watervliet and Coloma are proud to support the Panthers. Good luck tonight and all season. Check out the dozen new sandwiches at Subway in Watervliet and Coloma.
Wyatt Epple, the deep man for Watervliet. He let the last kick hit and roll, and it went all the way down to the Panther 15. A little bit of a low snap, but Hewlett gets it out of there. Epple's going to field it back at his 25. Wyatt Epple up the right side and gets crunched by Michael Palmer at the 42-yard line, but a nice 17-yard return. And another facet of the game where Watervliet is excelling.
Yeah, special teams is one of the things that we talked about. Watervliet did a great job of there, really setting this up too, getting some blocks for him, hitting the hole. One thing is with returners is they try to run side to side too much, and especially with the punt return, as soon as you get it, you got to get upfield and get north-south.
Often heard it referred to by the former Notre Dame player Alan Pinkett, you're trying to crash a toll booth and not get caught.
Good example of it.
Tyson Williams has Owen Epple in the backfield with him this time, and it's Owen Epple bouncing off his own lineman, trying to get outside, but he's dragged down at the Bobcat 49 after a pickup of about 4.
Good push by that offensive lineman on that play. I mean, they really got it downfield to where his first contact wasn't until he got to the 4-yard pickup.
Carter Sebecki in on the tackle. He had 7 tackles in Brandywine's opener last year. 2nd and 6. Williams checking the play from the sideline. Play fake, and there's Levi Getz, and Levi Getz is trying to break away, spinning, and finally brought down. Did he get the first down? Looks like he did. Great second effort by Getz, as Drake Heath was finally able to grapple him down, but not until Getz gets the first down at the 43. Take another look on the Subway of Watervliet and Coloma replay.
He was a good 4 yards short when he made that first contact, and he kept fighting and fighting to pick up that first down.
Might have got a little bit of a generous spot there, but
It might have been our angle too, but yeah, I agree with you. I thought it was a little short on that one.
1st and 10 from the 43. Williams decides to audible. And Williams will keep it himself. That was a pretty good choice since he picks up about 5 on the play. He has had success calling his own number tonight, 6 carries and 33 yards for Tyson Williams.
I really like their up-tempo offense too. They get right up to the line, no huddle, calling the play, get moving. They really have that tempo going.
And it doesn't seem overly forced. It's not one of these where you're sprinting all over the place and creating chaos. They're just not letting you sit back in the huddle.
Yeah.
2nd and 5. Williams with time, now running out of time, gets away from Hawley, but Schaff gets him at midfield. 3rd sack of the night for the Bobcats.
Great pressure up the field by the Bobcats, really getting in there and getting the pressure on Williams.
A loss of 12 on the play. Gavin Schaff gets in there. He is a 3-sport athlete, regional champion hurdler, also a member of the wrestling team. And he showed some of that athleticism there. 3rd and 17 for Watervliet. Williams with that nice, easy throw, finds his receiver, Chase Tremblay, who scoots out of bounds at the 45, only a pickup of 5. 4th and 12, and decision time for Josh Tremblay.
B&B Grocery wishes the best of success tonight and all season for the Panthers. B&B Grocery specialized in name brand products and amazingly low prices. Check out B&B Grocery on St. Joseph Street in Watervliet.
Williams 5 of 7 for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns throwing the ball, and highly likely he'll be doing that here on 4th and 12. Beerhalter to the right, and let's see if he's looking for him. Williams, screen pass. Tremblay can't handle it. Bobcats take over on downs.
Big defensive stand for Brandywine there. Cannot get down 21 points, and good job of really stepping up and putting the pressure on Williams.
And now Brandywine blessed with its best field position of the night. And we'll see if Justin Kinsey's team can take advantage of this opportunity to get back in things.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to call a timeout here and really regroup and strategize really for this offensive drive.
Timeout sponsored by Tessa Scheidler of Goosehead Insurance.
Flower Basket and Next Door Events wants to give a shout out to the Panthers. Flower Basket offers a full range of arrangements for any occasion. Next Door Events is a small event space for intimate weddings, bridal showers, baby showers, birthday parties, and much more. That's the Flower Basket and Next Door Events.
Visit South Bend, Mishawaka sponsors our factoids, and indeed Justin Kinsey has a tough act to follow as he replaces Mike Nate, who retired after 13 seasons as the head coach of the Bobcats. They went 73-49 during that tenure and got the lone playoff win in school history. So a great job by Mike Nate, but he decides to hang up the whistle, and Justin Kinsey comes up here. And man, when you're a new coach taking over a program, the kids love the enthusiasm he's bringing. He's bringing energy. He's trying to get the community involved. But you still got to have the Jimmies and Joes as well as the X's and O's.
Yeah, I think that's one of the biggest things is really when you're coming into a new program, you got to find out who your alphas are, and you got to really who's going to be those leaders, who's going to be those guys that other kids are going to follow with your lead. And you got to be able to get those kids to buy into what you're selling out there. And I think that's the biggest thing.
And it doesn't help the cause when your top 2 quarterbacks are hurt.
Exactly.
Caden Reith has not turned it over, though, tonight so far, and he has it 1st and 10 at the 45 right here. So let's see what the Bobcats might do. They've moved Michael Palmer into that fullback position in the backfield. And Let's see. Oh, we've got an illegal shift right there. 2 men in motion at the same time. It's great in Canada, not in Michigan.
Prior to the snap, false start called on Brandywine.
That is the 5th penalty of the night on the Bobcats here in the first half.
Yeah, move Palmer out of there, and then got some different guys in there. And as soon as you start doing the motion, one guy thinks he's supposed to go, the other guy goes, and that's what's going to happen when you get that little bit of confusion here in first week.
So now Brandywine looking at a 1st and 15. And we'll see how the Bobcats do here with Doug Hawley, the center, bringing them up to the line of scrimmage. Sabecki moved over here to the wing. It's still Palmer in that fullback position. And Palmer keeps it, and he gets nailed at the line of scrimmage. It is almost as though Watervliet said, oh, if you're lining up there, you must be getting the football. And they just nailed him in the backfield.
They're really stacking that box even more and really taking away those gaps at the center position.
Zach Rader, a big 5'8", 245-pound junior, was there to greet him right at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 2nd and 15. The Bobcats have yet to throw a pass tonight. We'll see what they call for here on 2nd and 15. Reith will pitch to Sabecki on the end around, and Sabecki tripped up, but he dives forward for a pickup of about 5. Wyatt Epple made the stop there on Carter Sabecki, who is a member of the basketball team here at Brandywine.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Brandywine might have to really kind of go to is trying to get to the outside some more. And even on that play there, he cut it back because he saw one defender, but if he maybe bumped it out a little bit farther, he might have had some more room to pick up as well.
Instead, Bobcats looking here at a 3rd and 10, and they just really have not been able to get into favorable 3rd down position so far tonight. Drake Heath goes wide to the right. Sabecki lines up at fullback this time. Palmer in motion. They pitch to Palmer. Palmer trying to bounce it to the outside, ran into his own man, Brock Dye, and then ran into big Zach Rader again at the line of scrimmage. It'll be 4th down.
Wouldn't it be great to work for a company where their employees are the most valuable asset? Well, now's your chance because RushCore is hiring. They have production positions available in a team-driven environment with excellent benefits that include medical, dental, and a 401k. To learn more about joining the RushCore family and a $1,000 sign-on bonus, visit reschcor.com.
So Owen Hewlett will line up in punt formation. And now Wyatt Epple is one of the deep men, but they kick away from him. Chase Tremblay can't chase that one down. It goes out of bounds by our field photographer, Josh Kellogg. And the official going to come back and mark it right about the 28-yard line. That gives us a chance to ask tonight's TCU trivia question. And we want to know which of these two schools has the higher enrollment. Well, you got 50-50 shot on this one, folks, so we'll tell you in just a moment whether Watervliet or Brandywine has more students in the school. I can tell you it's really close.
And I can tell you that both schools combined does not equal one class at Penn.
Oh, no. No, no. Not even close. But that's the beauty of small school football up here in Michigan. They divide it into a lot of different classes. Here's Tyson Williams looking to throw on 1st and 10 from his own 29. Now he's going to tuck it and run, and Gavin Schoaf gets him again. He is having a whale of a game at linebacker.
What a great job of not biting on that fake and really going all the way through him. Great job of wrapping up the ankle, knocking him down. Only a 1-yard pickup there.
8 carries, 22 yards now for Williams. Remember, his sack yardage counts as rushing yardage in high school football. Looking at 2nd and 9. And Williams, there's a flag thrown and whistles blown. Somebody got an early start for Watervliet. That'll cost him 5. Well, let's go ahead and answer that TCU trivia question, because it's not like you had to give it a lot of thought. You were going to either say Watervliet or Brandywine. If you said Watervliet, you would be correct by 11 students over Brandywine. Watervliet is the bigger school.
Just barely.
And actually, their enrollment dropped. They were up at about 395 last year. 14-0, Panthers lead it here with 5:01 to go and counting in quarter number 2. Tyson Williams going to load it up, finds an open man. That's Wyatt Epple, and he falls down at the 48-yard line, or he might have been off to the races. As it is, it's a first down. Pick up a 24 on the play for Epple.
Well, that's one of those plays where we talked about his ability to throw from the backside and really put that ball on the money. Had a guy wide open across the field on the sideline, was able to find him with ease and not even have to really put any effort into that throw.
That's been the thing. I saw him last Thursday at a scrimmage up at Berrien Springs. I've seen him tonight. I can't remember the last quarterback that I saw at this level that throws it with that kind of release. He'll hand it off here to Underwood. Underwood brought down at the 50-yard line. Pickup of 2 on the play. Brock Dye comes in and makes the stop that time. Now, you talked about Tyson Williams as only a 3-sport athlete because that's all you can play. Brock Dye, in his career at Brandywine, has lettered in 5 sports. Baseball, basketball, golf, and then when the pandemic hit in 2020, he said, I can't play football, run cross country.
One committed to the community right there.
Tore his ACL last year, couldn't play any football, so he's happy to be out here tonight. 2nd and 8. Getz in motion, takes it on the end around. Levi Getz with blockers in front. Levi Getz has a first down before Michael Palmer brings him to terra firma at the 37. A pickup of 13, and you'll see some dynamite blocking here coming up on our Subway replay. Take another look at this one, Bo.
Yeah, hopefully we get to see it right there. Good job of, again, blocking downfield. The wide receivers, the split ends, really blocking downfield, sustaining those blocks. That's what we always talk about. Sustain your block. Hold your block just long enough for that running back to get out there.
That was Colton Underwood that time with the block. And now Underwood gets the football. And not as much blocking for him as Gavin Shove brings him down in the backfield for a loss of 1.
St. Andrews Products supplied our crew with the finest and monogrammed apparel, and they help your team look good too. Promotional products, advertising specialties, business gifts, and much more. Reach us at sales@standrewscorp.com. The answer to your question is always yes.
Underwood basically lost a shoe on the play, so Owen Epple is going to have to come in at running back on 2nd and 11. Williams avoids pressure, but look at him just glide up the field. And Tyson Williams has himself a first down up at the 24-yard line. 14-yard pickup on the play, and Bo, he almost makes it look too easy.
Yeah, I mean, just a great strides there. He's almost into full speed right from he hits the corner right there. You can see just a great job. I mean, even when he got hit, he picked up 7 yards after he got hit because he's able to fall forward and roll forward in that with that big body.
Doug Hawley finally brought him down at the 24-yard line. Watervliet trying to add to a 14-0 lead with 2:50 and counting here left in the first half. Don't forget, coming up at halftime, you'll meet our Tony Letcher Student Athletes of the Week, and we'll have halftime stats and highlights. Williams fires, finds Wyatt Epple. Wyatt Epple trying to maneuver his way up the field. Wyatt Epple by the goal line all the way down to the 2. 22-yard pickup on the play from Williams to Epple. And they're finding all kinds of holes right now in the Brandywine secondary. That's Epple's second catch of this drive, and he's got 46 yards of it. 1st and goal.
Tyson's probably got to be getting close to that 150 mark tonight.
144. Williams hands off, and Owen Epple is not going to make it in. Owen Epple was wrapped up at the line of scrimmage, and then Brad Huber, all 290 pounds of him, came over and said, not here on this play.
Yeah, I really think the linebackers have been playing great for Brandywine tonight. They've been really able to get off some blocks and really pick up some key tackles.
Jake McCubbin made the initial contact that time. Owen Epple in the backfield, but Tyson Williams, quarterback draw, couldn't bull his way in. Brandywine with another stop at the 2-yard line. Hawley in there with the hit.
bring up 3rd and goal.
And now it's 3rd and goal, but the good news here for Watervliet, they're taking time off the clock as we're under 90 seconds to go before halftime. And now Josh Tremblay wants to take a timeout, and we'll take it as well. 1:20 remains in the first half. Watervliet trying to add to a 14-0 lead on Brandywine in the Michigan season opener on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by Crown Trophy. They're nationally known and locally owned. A reminder, there's more high school football next weekend on TV 46. Another doubleheader. Are we out of our minds? We'll go over to Berrien Springs, beautiful Sylvester Stadium. That's where Buchanan and Niles will renew their rivalry as Niles has repairs going on to its stadium. And then on Friday night, we'll have Concord at number 7 Northwood in the Northern Lakes Conference opener. Both those games next weekend on TV 46. Here we've got a key 3rd and goal from the 2-yard line. Tyson Williams at quarterback. Hands it off to Owen Epple, and Owen Epple can't even make it back to the line of scrimmage. Brandywine was waiting for him at the 4. What a terrific job by that Bobcat defense as Owen Hewlett came in with a stop, and it looks like Doug Hawley's a little slow to get up.
Imagineering Finishing Technologies is the industry knowledge source for metal finishing solutions. We specialize in process components for major industries, including aerospace, medical, and military and defense. IFT is excited about our 60-year history and looking forward to the challenges ahead. At Imagineering Finishing Technologies, quality is a way of life.
Good to have Jim Hammer's group back on the team. 4th and goal from the 4. Play clock down to 2. High snap. Williams, quarterback draw. Williams, touchdown, Watervliet.
Touchdown, Watervliet.
So Tyson Williams has thrown for 2 touchdowns, and now he has run for 1 as he takes it in on 4th and goal from the 4 to expand the Panther lead to 20-0. You get another look on the Subway replay. Terrific blocking by Isaac Barton, the senior guard.
I think the biggest thing with Brandywine is they can't be too disappointed with that stance that they had right down there. I mean, they stopped a really good offensive team 3 of the 4 downs and just had an unfortunate to go the opposite side on that with Tyson Williams.
Chase Tremblay with a good hold, but this one's blown dead before the kick gets underway. Apparently the official did not set the ball for play quite yet. So they'll reset it here. Chase Tremblay, the holder for Javier Gutierrez, who now looks back at the referee, says, "No, are you really ready?" And the snap is clean, the kick is up, and it is good. And now with just 29.4 seconds left before halftime, Watervliet takes a 21-0 lead. And normally at halftime, you would be talking to Josh Tremblay coming off the field. He's got to be pretty pleased with the effort he's seen from his team so far. And especially, we've talked a lot about Tyson Williams. I think the Watervliet defense has played a very smart, disciplined game tonight against this triple option.
Yeah, because that's one of the toughest things. We saw it last week with Mishawaka and Marion trying to, defend that option. And one of the biggest things is not over pursuing, reading your keys, and making sure you do your responsibilities. Because everybody has a responsibility to do when you're trying to defend that type of an offense. And he's done a great job tonight, not over pursuing, really filling the gaps. They had one play where Palmer went to the backside where they over pursued. But other than that, great job by this defense so far.
Meanwhile, for Justin Kinsey, yes, you're going to be down 21-0, it appears, here at halftime, unless you get some sort of miracle play here in the last 29 seconds. Considering you're playing with your 3rd-string quarterback and against an all-state caliber quarterback in Williams, can't be overly disappointed. Yeah, nobody wants to be down 21-0, but it could have been worse.
Yeah, I think so. I think the defense has really stepped up with them as well. They've done a great job of really not letting the big play. They had a big play early, but really not trying to let that big play come. Putting pressure on Williams, I think, is the big thing. Their D line has really been able to get in and get some pressure on them. And their offense is going to take a little bit of time. And they've had some drives where they've picked up some yards, but second half to just make some adjustments.
Javier Gutierrez with a high spinning kick that'll be taken by the up man Heath at the 24. Heath sprints out and gets to the 46-yard line before the Gutierrez, the kicker, brings him down. So Drake Heath the senior, with a nice return, and now maybe Justin Kinsey thinks about taking a gamble here. The ball at the 48, 23.4 seconds left, and he's got 2 of his timeouts remaining.
Yeah, I mean, this is the time where you haven't thrown the ball a game, and you might have to put the ball in the air for sure right now to pick up the 52 yards you need.
Of course, Josh Tremblay says, hey, I'm going to back 3 people all the way back to the 35-yard line. We're not going to play 9 in the box this time. I'm going to make sure we don't get beat over our heads here. And you see Michael Palmer split out wide to the bottom of your screen. That's the first time we've seen him there tonight. That makes you think he might be trying to run on a pass pattern. Caden Reith finds Palmer on a slant, but he drops it. And Reith took a hard hit as he delivered the ball. First pass of the night for Caden Reith, the 5'8", 135-pound junior. So it'll be 2nd and 10. The clock stops on the incomplete pass.
Yeah, this might be the situation where do we take that chance of maybe throwing a pick 6, or do we just try to get our offensive flowing a little bit more here with the little time that we have left?
The good news for Brandywine, they'll get the ball first to begin the second half. So if you sit on it here, you're basically saying, okay, well, let's see if we can make something happen in the second half. And Justin Kinsey's going to have to use a timeout here because there's confusion on the alignment. And the timeout for Brandywine is sponsored by Tessa Scheidler of Goosehead Insurance. A reminder, Pulse FM is your home for Big Ten football. And while the college football season actually kicks off on Saturday with a game in the Big Ten over in Ireland between Nebraska and Northwestern, our first game on Pulse FM is Thursday night, September 1st, when the Penn State Nittany Lions come calling out Ross-Ade Stadium to take on Jeff Baum and Purdue. Then the very next night, Friday night, Indiana opens up the Big Ten season against the Fighting Illini of Illinois at Memorial Stadium. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff all season long. Purdue on 92.1 and 96.9, and IU on 103.1 FM.
Yeah, this time of the season, if football starts up, especially college football, if you like football, they make it available almost every night nowadays. You're able to watch it and pick up any type of D1 game you want to pick up.
Well, we're trying to make it available every night this week. We've got a Friday afternoon, Saturday afternoon replay of Michigan football, and then a Friday night, Saturday morning replay of Indiana high school football. Caden Reith will look to roll out and throw, got rid of it. The pressure was coming from Watervliet's Percy Rowe, and it'll be 3rd down, although there's a flag on the play, so we'll see if there might have been some defensive holding.
Yeah, late flag coming in there, and I don't know if they was calling defensive holding or intentional grounding, but there's, to me, a receiver in the vicinity there.
And they're going to call an ineligible receiver downfield, but it's declined, and that'll set up 3rd down.
This penalty will be declined. It'll be 3rd and 10.
So it'll be 3rd and 10, and here's the problem for Brandywine. Not a lot of time's ticked off the clock. There's still 16 seconds left. You really don't want to be in a position here where you have to punt it away.
Well, yeah, and you got a guy on the other side that can probably throw it 70 yards in the air.
Let's see if Josh Tremblay uses a timeout if Brandywine runs the ball here. They will with Michael Palmer. Palmer running over tacklers, and Palmer gets the 1st down up to the 41-yard line, and that'll negate any talk of that. Michael Palmer, a bright spot for Brandywine's offense in the first half, 4 carries, 33 yards. But with 10 seconds left here in the first half, it looks like Brandywine's going to let the clock expire. No, they're going to take a timeout. And this is their last one. It's sponsored by Tessa Scheidler of Goosehead Insurance. Well, Brandywine plays in what is called the BCS Conference. It's the Berrien Cass St. Joseph County Conference, although it has no teams from St. Joseph County now. It's realigned itself somewhat. And so they're in a conference with Benton Harbor. You got 82-year-old Elliot Uzelak still coaching up there at Berrien Springs, and I saw them in the scrimmage, Bo. I think they're probably the favorite in this conference. We'll see Buchanan next week. Mark Fry's got a nice team with Connor Legault back at quarterback. And then Dowagiac is kind of a tough team to figure out. They're playing South Haven tonight. I'll be curious to see how that game comes out. They've undergone some changes up there. It's certainly not like it was in the Halcyon days when Brent Lesniak was running the football and Bernard Thomas was winning state championships. But I'll be curious to see how they do coming out of the Wolverine Conference and move into this league.
Yeah, I mean, that's some of the adjustments with the conferences up here and some of the movements and everything. And then you get some different matchups in the outer conference like we did tonight. These two teams haven't played since 2014.
And you've got two teams that play in Watervliet's conference that we'll look at in the second half that aren't fielding varsity teams this year. Michael Palmer had the legs taken out from under him after about a 5-yard pickup by Owen Epps, and that'll do it for the first half of football here in Niles Township. The Watervliet Panthers have come calling on their Berrien County rivals, and while Brandywine hung in there a little bit better in the second quarter, it was the defense of Watervliet that dominated. They lead at 21-0 as we go to our St. Joe County Police halftime report with our Tony Letcher Health Markets Student Athletes of the Week, next on 46. Halftime here at Selge Field in Niles Township, and it's time now to meet our Tony Letcher Health Markets Student Athletes of the Week, brought to us by Tony Letcher of Health Markets. Pleased to be joined by two terrific young men I've had the pleasure to meet this week. This is Tyson Williams from Watervliet. Over here is Philip McLaurin from Brandywine. We always start with the visitor first. This guy, despite the fact that he, is only 6'5", 200 pounds, is all conference in 3 sports, football, basketball, and baseball, and yet you also have a 4.0 GPA. How do you balance all of that?
It's definitely tough, but a lot of the hard work from my family and my coaches, getting able to go to practices but also make time to do homework, is top priority in my house, so definitely my parents help push for that.
Yeah, so what do they do to help push you along on that?
Yeah, so they help us with just making sure my homework's done before I go to practice, making sure that my test grades are good. Otherwise, and my dad, he's a big role model for me, so he tells me hey, if you have C's, I don't want you practicing. So I definitely got to stay up on my A's and B's and make sure I got that 4.0.
And obviously you've done that, and now you're a senior at Watervliet. Big plans for your senior year, I'm sure, but then after that, you're interested in both design and sports marketing. They don't necessarily go together. What prompted the interest in both of those?
So my dad's actually an architect for Miller Davis, and that's kind of helped me with the design side. And then my aunt is a physical therapist, so having her kind of help me decide sports-wise too, I can do that, or do I want to follow my dad's footsteps? So big deciding factor right now.
Well, you already got the free plug-in, so maybe that's the sports marketing side. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate it.
That's Tyson Williams of Watervliet. Over here we've got big Philip McLaurin, the pride of the Brandywine, not only offensive and defensive lines, but also pretty dandy wrestler. Finished 6th in the state finals and has a 3.8 GPA. So again, you're doing a lot of stuff here at Brandywine, and yet you're getting the job done in the classroom. How do you manage your time?
Well, a lot of it is, if I ever have a problem, I can always talk to my teachers about it. So going to them after class, if I need something, working with them. My mother always makes sure, I'm doing my job, making sure I'm up. Not very overly pushy about, all A's or anything, but making sure, if I do something bad, she knows I can do better and just push me to be better.
She's the one that's always on you about the grades?
Just always got to be better. It's an A or, a B or C is fine, but if you can get that A and do it, that's always her motto,
And yet probably your biggest fan in the stands, right?
Definitely the biggest, always. Wrestling, football, track, I can always hear her.
So your senior year, you'll be doing all 3 of those sports, hoping to succeed in all those. What do you think you'll do after Brandywine High School?
Hopefully I can go play, football further. If, on top of that, though, I'd like to do something probably automotive, related. I want to be able to be a mechanic and work in that field. Man, if you have that job, you're never going to be unemployed, right? Never. Always need them.
Philip McLaurin from Brandywine High School, Tyson Williams from Watervliet, our Tony Letcher Health Markets Student Athletes of the Week. Stick around. We've got halftime highlights from Brandywine and Watervliet coming up next on the 46 Game of the Week. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Martin Supermarkets. Count on us for all your grocery needs and so much more. When you are at a small school, it's not enough to be the starting linebacker. You better be able to play trombone in the marching band at halftime. That's what Jake McCubbin is doing here for Brandywine tonight. They trail Watervliet 21-0 as we invite you into the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth. Chuck Freeby joined by Bo Hunt in the booth tonight. As we told you, Bob Nagel has the weekend off. Who isn't off is Tyson Williams. He's really, really good.
Yeah, and we talked about it before the game and during the game, and seeing him in person. You told me before we came up here, you got to see this guy. And when I get up here, I'm like, okay. The way he releases the ball, it's just effortless, and it just flies out of his hand. He has the touch. He has the ability. He's able to run. And he's got the size. He's got the speed. He's a tough guy to bring down.
And he's got people around him, too.
Yes.
I mean, it's not just Tyson Williams. The defense for Watervliet is doing the job. In fact, let's show you how it got to be this way. 21-0 at the intermission. And the aforementioned Mr. Williams got things going with his legs to convert a big fourth down play, and then finds Caden Beerholder in the end zone on the opening drive to make it 7-0. But Michael Palmer picked up the fumbled pitch, ran it 22 yards for a Brandywine first down. He was kind of fun to watch for the Bobcats in the first half, but it was Williams going all over the place with his legs, and that opened up things for the passing game. Levi Getz gets behind his man for a touchdown, 14-0 after one. Carter Sabecki with a strong run here at fullback, but there just weren't enough of these kind of plays for Brandywine in the first half, playing with their third-string quarterback, and Williams was able to do so much. He had 40 yards rushing, including this 4-yard quarterback draw right before halftime to make it 21-0 at the break. And both the first half numbers, sometimes numbers can be deceptive. These weren't. Domination by Watervliet.
Yeah, when you look at that, the total yards, 237 to 72. Penalty is about the same. Both of them really trying to work some kinks out. No turnovers, of course. And the first downs, 12 to 3. I think it's the biggest thing was Brandywine wasn't able to really sustain any drives. I think that's one of the biggest things that Justin Kinsey's going to have to talk about at halftime. And he's got some guys playing some different roles. He's moved some guys around, and they got to understand they got to make those adjustments on the fly.
And we'll see what kind of adjustments they make as Brandywine will get the ball to start the second half. But the band, what a show they put on here. The pride of the Bobcats, entertaining at halftime where Watervliet leads 21-0. This has been the St. Joe County Police Department halftime report. Second half play-by-play from Niles Township comes your way after this on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week being brought to you in part by HealthLink, your community health center. The Watervliet Panthers with a 21-0 lead, and the guy that's head and shoulders above everybody else out there, both physically and figuratively, Tyson Williams, playing with a lot of confidence tonight. 6 out of 8 in that first half for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. And he might have a different quarterback facing him here in the second half. Normally we'd go downstairs for a Bills Heating sideline report, but you can tell me from here in the booth, looks like Michael Palmer might be coming in at quarterback.
Yeah, he was taking some snaps from the center, and now he's doing some tosses and stuff like that. I'm sure they win in at halftime, tried to make some adjustments, tried to think through some things. I mean, they were going on their third quarterback. They had to make a split decision. They had a little bit of time at halftime to maybe make these adjustments and talk about them, and maybe they simplify the offense down a little bit and not have as many play calls as well.
Now, Palmer's a lefty, too. For a receiver or a running back coming out of the backfield, to have a lefty thrown to you rather than a righty, what's the big difference?
There is a difference, just the way the ball comes out and the way you see it and perceive it and the way the ball kind of maybe tails a little bit or dives a little bit. Everybody throws a little bit different, but again, a righty versus a lefty is different as well.
Meanwhile, Josh Tremblay over on the other side for Watervliet, Central Michigan grad, married, 3 kids. His son Chase here on the team tonight. We've seen him playing number 22, and Josh, pretty excited about the way his team has opened up this season. He knows they have a challenging schedule. We showed you Brandywine's conference. We'll talk about Watervliet's conference here a little bit in the second half, but with a couple of teams that are normally in that conference not fielding teams this year, all of a sudden that schedule gets shrunk, and you're playing the tougher teams in the conference a lot. So Javier Gutierrez will do the kicking here for Watervliet to begin the second half. Michael Palmer, one of the deep men, along with Brock Dye. Panthers lead at 21-0. We're underway in quarter number 3. This is Palmer. Well, they'll have to go back and pick it up because Heath knocked it down at the 2, and Brock Dye is going to be thrown down at the 5. Poor communication on special teams hurts Brandywine there.
Yeah, it's definitely not the start they wanted here in the second half. It's just like a shortstop and an outfielder. You see Palmer coming up from the back. That's like the outfielder coming in on the infielder. They always have priority, and he's got to be able to call him off on that and get out of the way.
And the rule of thumb on special teams no different than what you're describing on a baseball field. If you have to back up to catch it and you're not the deep man, you shouldn't be doing that.
Yep. We'll see if Palmer gets out there. It doesn't look like right now he's at the quarterback position.
Nope, they've got Caden Reith out there, but it is Palmer who will line up behind center. So they've moved Reith over to the wing. Carter Sebecki is his fullback, and they'll reset the play clock. So Michael Palmer, most explosive player for Brandywine on offense in that first half. You want him to have the ball in his hands? That's the best way to do it. Take it from the center. But everybody hitting Palmer, and somehow he got away. And Palmer with a first down to the 21-yard line. What a Houdini act by Michael Palmer. They'll actually spot it at the 23.
What a great job of really keeping his feet going. You can see him driving. There's no wrap up. He gets away from those two guys, and then he just keeps driving those legs. Great run by Palmer.
Palmer tonight, 6 carries for 55 yards.
Tough 55 yards that he's run for as well.
Absolutely. So now let's see if they continue with him at quarterback. Now they're putting Caden Reith back in under center here. Palmer's over on the wing. And Reith hands off to Carter Sebecki, and Sebecki batters his way forward and has a nice run for about 8 yards. So we're seeing a little bit of a rejuvenated Brandywine offense here in the second half.
Yeah, and that's a great 2 first downs that they've run right there. Great yardage pickup. Really give them the momentum after that kind of baffle that they had on the opening kickoff.
2nd and 2. Reith seems to be the one bringing in the plays, but we'll see if he continues to line up at quarterback. He does here. Reith gets everybody down at the line of scrimmage. Palmer in motion. They pitch it to him around the right side, carrying that ball like a loaf of bread. Flag comes out. This one's going to be against Brandywine. I think it's a hold in the backfield.
I think they did a great job of blocking initially, but then once the play was by, you have to understand you can't grab that jersey and hold on, and that's what it looked like because the flag came in late, and that's after Palmer was already by that offensive guy blocking.
And that'll be a big penalty because it's a spot infraction. It happened in the backfield back at the 27. It'll be half the distance to the goal line. Well, actually, it's a 10-yard penalty. They'll mark it back to the 17, but still, you're looking at a 2nd and 16 here.
Negates that big first down pickup that they had. We want to thank Prime Table for feeding our crew this evening. Stop by the Prime Table for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and follow them on Facebook. That's Prime Table.
For Brandywine, it's 6th penalty of the night for 45 yards. So now Palmer goes back at quarterback because he's the guy with the better arm. Watervliet showing blitz. Palmer's going to roll away from it, try to cut inside, but there's just too much pursuit. And finally down he goes at the 17-yard line. All that for no gain. Terrific pursuit that time by Percy Rowe in that Watervliet defense.
Palmer's getting up a little slow too, walking back to that huddle. Looked like he got a little banged up. He's actually calling for a sub right now.
Well, yeah, he's going to come out and they're going to put Jake McCubbin in the game. Palmer just needs to get some water and a little bit of air. Caden Reith rolls out. He's going to throw, and it's almost intercepted. Owen Epple had his hands on it, but couldn't come up with it.
Another flag on the play. I mean, another offensive lineman downfield again.
It would appear that way. And with that being a third down play, wouldn't be surprised if Watervliet declines the penalty. So an ineligible man downfield. It is indeed declined. Sets up a fourth down situation. And Justin Kinsey will get his punt unit out there on the field.
The Brandywine Athletic Department wants to wish the Bobcats a great football season. Go Bobcats from the Brandywine Athletics.
So Owen Hewlett about to punt it. Wyatt Epple is the deep man standing back at his 47, or actually the Bobcat 47. Clean snap. Hewlett with a one-step kick. Epple back at his own 46. Evades one tackler. Wyatt Epple to the outside, trying to stiff arm Brock Dye, and Dye puts him in an arm bar and takes him down. We've got a flag behind the play as Doug Hawley got into it with one of the Watervliet players. And we'll see what is called here. It's going to be a personal foul against Brandywine, offsetting personal fouls. And let's see if they make them punt it again.
Yeah, usually offsetting penalties, replay the down.
It might only be a question is if those offsetting penalties happened after the play was over. It looks like they're spotting the ball at the 39 for Watervliet. And they will keep the ball 1st and 10 at the Bobcat 39. So terrific field position for Watervliet for their first possession of the third quarter, already leading 21-0.
We'll see how Watervliet opens up the second half. Williams with almost 150 passing yards, and they had almost 100 rushing yards on the ground as a team as well.
Very balanced attack in that first half. And it's Tyson Williams looking to throw. Philip McLaurin applying pressure, and it is almost intercepted. Owen Hewlett read that pass beautifully and came over and broke it up from the defensive back spot.
Well, that was a great job of reading that pass, really coming across. Good pass right at the receiver. You can see it right here, but a great job of the defensive back coming across. Can't quite see it there, but he did a good job of really cutting in front of that pass.
Tyson Williams now 6 out of 9 on the night for 144 yards and 2 touchdowns. He lines up Carson Underwood in the backfield with him. Williams swings it out to Underwood. Underwood can't avoid the tackle. Jake McCubbin played the trombone and then played the pass.
Talk about doing stuff at halftime and making some adjustments. He's made some adjustments on the saxophone, then came out here and did a great job of really sticking that guy right there in the backfield. Great pursuit.
So McCubbin, who is a hurdler on the track team and also has run some cross country in his time, comes up with a nice athletic play there to force a 3rd down and 12. Williams puts a man in motion. That's Levi Getz, but the handoff to Carson Underwood going the other way. Underwood found some running room. He's got a 1st down and more. Underwood cuts it down all the way inside the 20 to the 18. 22-yard pickup for Carson Underwood. And again, the Subway replay will show some pretty nice blocking in front of him.
Yeah, you'll see one come right in the center right there. Just receivers, we talked about it all night, their ability to sustain blocks downfield and really open up those holes.
I think that was Beerhalter that time, the big 6'3", 185-pounder, and he used his leverage well.
It's one of the hardest things to do is to block downfield for wide receivers, and if you can do it, you can really open up some big holes.
Now 1st and 10 from the 18. Williams points out receivers, fires, and it's almost intercepted again by Owen Hewlett. So maybe it took a couple of quarters of seeing Tyson Williams throw it around, but Owen Hewlett has learned some lessons well, and he comes back here and almost had himself a pick.
Well, you look at that throw right there. He was running. He threw across his body about 30 yards downfield and tried to force it just a little bit, but he didn't miss that throw by much.
It'll be 2nd and 10 from the 18. Williams hands it off, and Jake McCubbin is there again for the stop behind the line. Well, it'll wind up going back to the line of scrimmage, but McCubbin able to wrap up the ball carrier Underwood that time.
Windy Mitten Properties is proud to support Panther Athletics. Windy Mitten Properties is a local real estate agency serving the Paw Paw Lake area.
You talked about balance. I've got Watervliet for 125 rushing and 142 passing. 3rd and 10. Bad snap. Williams handled it well. There's a hold, and this one's coming back. Beerhalter thinks he's got a touchdown. He is not aware that a Brandywine defensive lineman was tackled in the backfield, and this one will come back.
Second touchdown called back tonight for Watervliet for a holding penalty.
I don't know if you'll be able to see that one on the Subway replay, but it was right in front of the referee, and he wasted no time throwing the flag.
The Watervliet Public Schools administrative team wants to wish all their students and student athletes a great school year. Watervliet Public Schools, working together to keep us together.
So now, instead of 3rd and 10, Watervliet looking at 3rd and 28, because that was a 15-yard infraction from the spot of the foul. 5 penalties, 50 yards on the Panthers tonight. Williams in trouble and tries to get rid of it, floats it out there, and it's caught by Chase Tremblay. I'm surprised Tremblay didn't call for a fair catch as high as that thing went in the air. Winds up being caught at the 30-yard line. And Brock Dye hobbles off the field for Brandywine. Watch this thing from Williams.
It was almost a 30-yard throw for a pickup of 4 yards.
But he put it right on the numbers.
Sure did.
5-yard pickup. It'll be 4th down. Again, kind of no man's territory here. So the line is scrimmage the 30. They've got to get to the 8. 4th and 22. Play clock down to 10. Beerhalter up at the top of your screen. That's where Williams wants to go, but he can't. Now Williams scrambles, fires across his body off the hands of Wyatt Epple and incomplete. So Brandywine holds on downs with 6:27 to go, 3rd quarter. Still trailing Watervliet 21-0 on 46. This edition of the TV46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by TCU. Discover better banking at TCU. The Watervliet Panthers have won 6 of their last 7 season openers coming into this one, and they have a 21-0 lead with 6:27 to go here in the 3rd quarter. Brandywine's Philip McLaurin just hobbled off the field. He appears to have a problem in his calf and has taken a seat over on the Bobcat bench. And the Bobcats just had a good defensive set. They're taking over on downs here. 1st and 10 at their own 30, but they just have not been able to get any kind of consistent movement of the football tonight.
Yeah, I mean, they've had a couple plays here and there where they've been able to move the ball, but the ability to sustain drive, getting 2-3 first down pickups in a same series, I think is the biggest thing.
Now here they're putting Michael Palmer back at the quarterback slot. Of course, he'll have a new offensive lineman in front of him with McLaurin out of the game. And a timeout is called by Brandywine because Justin Kinsey isn't sure that his team has the right personnel out there right now. And this timeout is sponsored by Tessa Scheidler of Goosehead Insurance.
Yeah, you can see a couple guys kind of running around, setting up in a certain position, running into another one. At that point, you know they're not really sure of where they're supposed to be.
So in the first half, we talked about the conference Brandywine is in. Let's focus for a moment here on Watervliet. They're in the Southwest Athletic Conference. Coloma and Hartford not fielding varsity teams this year. So you've got a conference with Allegan, which isn't really that strong, but the Constantine is a perennial state power. Hackett Catholic now goes by Kalamazoo United. No matter what, that's a good football
Really
program.
good.
Parchment, South Haven, probably teams that Watervliet more on a level with. But you have to remember, you have to play all these teams, and you usually have to have a 500 or above record to make the Michigan football playoffs. So even though this is opening night, this is a key game for Watervliet. You got to stack W's when you can.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, especially up here in Michigan, is you have to get wins. And whether or not your schedule's heavy with some heavier teams, bigger teams, or something that you play, or bigger classes, you still they count the wins, and you have to stack wins early in the season.
So it's 1st and 10 from the 30 with 6:27 to go here in the third. And it is Palmer throwing, and it is intercepted, or was it dropped? Nope, it's trapped by Wyatt Epple. You'll get another look at it on the Subway of Watervliet and Coloma replay and see if Epple is able to get the hands underneath it before it hits the ground. He did not protest, and he did trap it.
Yeah. Good call.
It'll be 2nd and 10. Brandywine has yet to complete a pass tonight. Palmer under center again. He's rolling to his left and dragging tacklers, but Owen Epple is able to bring him down after a pickup of 1.
The Watervliet Athletic Boosters are proud to support Panther Athletics and want to give a shout out to all the fall sports teams. Go Panthers and have a great season.
7 carries, 56 yards tonight for Michael Palmer. Now Caden Reith comes back in as Palmer cramps up. And Brandywine really got some problems right now with 2 of their star players, the 2 key players to win. McLaurin and Palmer out, and McLaurin's down in the pickle juice on the sideline. Caden Reith under center. He's going to hand it off to Carter Sebecki, and there's just no running room there. Boy, that Watervliet defensive line has done the job tonight.
They've really been able to really stuff that middle, pack it inside, and not get beat. And I think that's the biggest thing is that front 4, man. They've done a great job of really closing those holes.
And now it's Sebecki hobbling off. So 3 of the big names in this Brandywine offense coming off the field. Zach Rader was credited with the stop on that last play. It's 4th down and 9, and Owen Hewlett will line up in punt formation.
Tessa Scheidler from Goosehead Insurance proudly supports the Brandywine Bobcats. Licensed in Michigan and Indiana, they offer home, auto, life, and specialty lines of insurance. Come see what the power of choice can do for you.
Brandywine just trying to get some 11 bodies on the field right now. They did. Hewlett somehow gets that one out of there, and it's a pretty decent punt that takes a Brandywine roll and goes out of bounds at around the 31-yard line. Boy, Hewlett did a great job of averting disaster there, a 37-yard punt with no return. And Watervliet takes over 1st and 10 at its own 31 with 4:51 to go in the third.
I think a big thing with Brandywine's defense so far this second half, though, is they've been able to really slow this Watervliet offense down.
Oh, really? Yeah. Since the first quarter, they've held Watervliet to just 7 points in almost 2 quarters of action. We'll see what Williams does here at the end of the third. But you see a lot of dehydration going on right now for Brandywine. They've got leg cramps going on all over the place. Tyson Williams fires out to Levi Getz, and Getz, the speedy little sophomore, takes it down the sideline. Look at him go. And Brock Dye finally knocks him out of bounds at around the 21-yard line. That's a pickup of 48 yards for Levi Getz, and you get another look from the subway of Watervliet and Coloma.
Wow, look at Levi just get outside. Just look at that speed, able to get down that sideline, just about a half a step away from breaking that.
That's 195 yards passing now for Tyson Williams tonight. But Getz did most of the work on that one. He also had a 38-yard gain back in the first half. Williams now to Chase Tremblay on the swing pass. Great block from Wyatt Epple. Tremblay tries to cut inside, and Owen Hewlett knocks him down, but we've got a flag, and they're going to call a penalty on Wyatt Epple for that block.
Yeah, that's a tough thing being right there. If you get any part of that jersey out there right in front of that ref, you're right by yourself, and they're going to call that every single time.
Tremblay went right off that Epple block, and Epple is adamant that he didn't do anything wrong. We'll see if we pick up the violation here on the Subway replay. There's Epple up there. Well, we saw it a little too late.
Yeah, I didn't really see much there.
So they wind up spotting the ball back at the 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 9. Williams now with Carson Underwood in the backfield with him. And it's Underwood. No, it's Williams keeping himself, trying to dart through tacklers. Williams bouncing off people to the end zone. Touchdown. Tyson Williams with a 20-yard touchdown run. His second rushing touchdown of the night. And it's 27-0 Watervliet.
I'm not sure Brandywine even knew he had the ball right at the start of that. It looked like he did hand it off, and he tucked it well. You can see some guys starting to pursue. Just got to wrap up. Two guys right there hit each other and really knock themselves off out of the play.
He's 6'5", 200 pounds, and a three-sport athlete, which means he doesn't have a ton of time to be in a weight room. I'm telling you, if somebody picks him up as a football player and they get him in the weight room, that could be a dangerous prospect.
For sure.
Javier Gutierrez on to try the extra point out of the hold of Chase Tremblay.
I mean, one of the things you look at is not just the talent level and the X's and the O's, but the ability to play. We always call it baseball 101 or football 101. Do you understand the game and how to play the game, and does it come natural and easy for you?
Gutierrez with the extra point to make it 28-0, and let's get another look at the TD run by Tyson Williams, who just buries Owen Hewlett right there on his way to the end zone.
Subway and Watervliet and Coloma are proud to support the Panthers. Good luck tonight and all season. Check out the dozen new sandwiches at Subway in Watervliet and Coloma.
Well, Williams had 3 passing touchdowns last year against Buchanan, a 5-touchdown game against South Haven. He has thrown for 2 and run for 2 tonight. And Watervliet in command of this one, leading 28-0. Now, this game being played on a Thursday night. 2 of the teams that people will be keeping an eye on in Southwest Michigan this year are going to open up on Friday night. St. Joseph playing Traverse City Central. And I think that game's up at Ferris State. Edwardsburg is playing at Hope College, and they'll play Grand Rapids West Catholic. Their head coach is the former offensive coordinator at Elkhart High School, Landon Grove. That'll be a pretty good test for Kevin Bartz's bunch.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a real good test for Edwardsburg. And it's a good way to start out the year. See how well you're going to be tested throughout the year. And it's something that they really wanted to do.
Well, they tried that last year. They played Montague, who was a defending state champ, and they absolutely buried Montague 38-0. It's always tough to play that triple option offense that Kevin Bartz uses, especially because they have such a dominant offensive line, and they've really done a great job developing that strength and conditioning program up there.
Yeah, I think that A is one of the biggest keys to that strength and conditioning program, but B, the ability to really get that in the lower programs and really understand that offense as they get older. They already know what they're running.
Good news is we see Michael Palmer back out on the field after he was cramping. He's going to take this kickoff at his 9. Palmer busts to the outside, spins, stays in bounds, and goes out at the 37. And we see flags come in behind the play.
B&B Groceries wishes the best of success tonight and all season for the Panthers. B&B Groceries, specialized in name brand products at amazingly low prices. Check out B&B Grocery on St. Joseph Street in Watervliet.
Great to have B&B on our team tonight. We've got a block in the back called on Brandywine. So again, the penalty flags have done damage to both teams tonight. And Brandywine now called for their 6th flag after Watervliet has had 6 as well. This will march the Bobcats back to their own 21-yard line. And we'll see if it's Palmer lining up under center here. It is indeed Michael Palmer, the lefty. And he looks like he might be operating from the gun. No, he's just taking his time getting up under center. Man in motion. Palmer rolls to his right this time, cuts back. Palmer on the run, and then Royce Doherty says, not here, not now.
Michael Palmer on the return.
Pick up a 7 on the play, but what a stop by the big 300-pound Doherty. And we talked about people doing different sports during the pandemic. Royce Doherty is 300 pounds, and he ran cross-country at Watervliet during the pandemic.
And you'll see a few of those athletes do that on the offensive line. I know a couple of schools in Indiana, Bremen, and Jimtown have a couple of big offensive linemen that did cross-country as well. It's one of those things where, you know, if you like to run, which I don't, good for you, you know.
I don't think Royce liked to run, but he wanted to do something. He said, I couldn't just sit around and do nothing.
Yep.
So he went out for the cross-country team. Now a man in motion, but it's Carter Sabecki taking the handoff. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Might have picked up one. It'll be 3rd and short from Brandywine.
Palmer back on the sideline, getting a breather again.
He has taken some hard hits tonight, and of course he's been playing on both sides of the ball. One of the things Michael told me is that they don't have a lot of players, and you can look at the sidelines on both sides. Neither team is replete with players, but he says we do have 11 dudes that really like to get after it on the football field. Problem is you got to keep all 11 of them out there.
That's the thing, you know, you got to stay healthy, and right now with all the cramps going on, you can't really do anything about it right now. There's no way you just kind of try to work through it. The biggest thing is you have to prepare for that pre-week before you get to the Thursday night game.
So Becky able to run for a first down, and that'll keep the chains moving and the clock moving here for Brandywine as we hit 2:33 to go here in the 3rd quarter.
Flower Basket and Next Door Events wants to give a shout out to the Panthers. Flower Basket offers a full range of arrangements for any occasion, and Next Door Events is a small event space for intimate weddings, bridal showers, baby showers, birthday parties, and more.
Palmer over on the sideline, so Caden Reith lines up under center. And Reith will keep it himself, and the little quarterback plowing behind his offensive line manages to burrow his head in there and pick up 3 yards. And, I mean, this has been a pretty courageous effort by Caden Reith tonight. 3rd-string quarterback. He probably came here tonight thinking, well, if I get to play, it's because we're down by 28 or up by 28. All of a sudden, he finds out shortly before the game, no, you're taking the first snap of the season.
Yep.
And he has not had any turnovers. There really haven't been any bad quarterback-center exchanges.
No, and I really like his decisions and the way he kind of goes about himself, running back and forth, calling in the plays and coming in and really running the offense. You know, when you run this offense, you have to be a leader out there, and I think he's shown that poise that he has.
2nd and 7. The junior Reith turns and pitches out. This is Brock Dye with those fluorescent green shoes, taking it up to the 40-yard line. And Dye will set up a 3rd and 3 here for Brandywine.
Gain of 4. It'll bring up 3rd and 3.
Brandywine with 2 of its best players on the sidelines right now with cramps. Their 2 starting quarterbacks, or their 2 top quarterbacks on the depth chart 10 days ago, both out with injuries. This is a mash unit on the field right now for Justin Kinsey. On 3rd and 3, it's Caden Reith under center. He'll turn and hand it to Sabecki, and Sabecki gets to the outside and gets the first down up to the 46-yard line. Pickup of 6 on the play. And this is one of the better drives the Bobcats have had tonight.
Yeah, a little momentum, first down in this drive. And that's what I talked about earlier. You know, you got to get to that 3 or 4 first downs in a drive to really sustain something, really get that momentum. So they're about halfway there. They're starting to get a little bit of that momentum here.
Clock running. Brandywine does have to run one more play here to end the 3rd quarter. Reith 1st and 10 from the 46. And he will hand it off to Sabecki, and Sabecki has met a yard behind the line of scrimmage. Ball popped loose at the end, but he was ruled down. So many white jerseys, but I'll tell you what, Zach Rader having a great game at defensive tackle tonight for Watervliet. And that's going to end the third quarter of play. It is a cloudy night in Southwest Michigan, but there is a star rising, and his name is Tyson Williams. 2 rushing touchdowns, 2 passing touchdowns, and Watervliet's jumping for joy, up 28-0 out 46. This edition of the 46 Game of the Week being brought to you in part by the electrical workers of Local 153. They're making our communities, if not our press box, brighter. Chuck Freeby and Bo Hunt high above the fray here. Watervliet leading 28-0. Normally you'd be down on the sidelines and enjoying a cool breeze. Instead, silhouettes, 2 silhouettes on the shades here up in the press box. Your thoughts on this 1 through 3?
A lot of talent out here, and I think the biggest thing you brought up just a little bit ago is the number of players that are out here on both sides. I think I counted 20 dressed on Watervliet side, 24 dressed on Brandywine side. And the first week of the year, when you start having some cramps and some injury issues and stuff like that, and you're losing some key guys, for Brandywine, that's going to affect how you're going to play throughout the game. And then for Watervliet, I just think the ability for their offense to really be able to run the ball, pass the ball, very balanced type of offense, and their defense really stepped up tonight as well.
And I think a part of the key here for Watervliet, too, is they are very familiar not only with each other, but the system they're running, whereas Brandywine, name tags and new system, it's a little bit tough. 2nd and 12. Caden Reith rolls out, fires a little bit over the head of his intended receiver, Brock Dye, and that'll fall incomplete. It'll be 3rd down.
Wouldn't it be great to work for a company where their employees are the most valuable asset? Well, now's your chance because RushCore is hiring. They have production positions available in a team-driven environment with excellent benefits that include medical, dental, and a 401k. To learn more about joining the RushCore family and a $1,000 sign-on bonus, visit RushCore, that's RESCHCOR.com.
So 3rd down and 12 for Brandywine. Looks like Michael Palmer's back in the game in the slot. Reith rolling that way, throws, and it's intercepted. That is Wyatt Epple. And Wyatt Epple going down the far sidelines, and it's a touchdown for Watervliet. Epple with a pick 6 as he takes it all the way back. And Watervliet on the verge of turning this into a running clock game.
And I think that's one of the biggest issues with Brandywine is getting out of their offense and getting out of that triple option and having to throw the ball. And especially when you have your 3rd quarterback in there. I mean, that's one of the biggest things. He's not going to be too accurate and maybe throw it just a little bit beyond where he needs to.
So Wyatt Epple with the touchdown. And now Javier Gutierrez on to try the extra point. If he makes it, it's 35-0, and the running clock rules set in. Chase Tremblay is the holder. Gutierrez 4 for 4 on PATs tonight. And you can make it 5 for 5 as Watervliet in command. Tyson Williams finally has some company in the end zone, this time from Wyatt Epple as he goes the distance with the interception, and the Panthers are on top, 35-0 on 46. This edition of the TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week is being brought to you in part by Imagineering Finishing Technologies. IFT, where quality is a way of life.
For over 30 years, St. Andrew Products has set the standard for apparel, business gifts, and promotional items. We support great charities like Folds of Honor and the American Dunes Golf Course in Grand Haven, Michigan. We can help your cause too. Contact us sales at standrewscorp.com. At St. Andrews, your expectations become our standards.
So I believe the rules in Michigan are no different than they are in Indiana. It's a national rule, actually, that when a team is up 35 points, The clock will run without stopping except on changes of possession. That's why it has not started yet. Javier Gutierrez is on to do the kickoff. Michael Palmer and Brock Nye are the deep men for Brandywine. And there's the kick. It's Palmer who will take it back around his 10-yard line. Palmer looking for blockers, tries to get to the outside, and Caden Beerhalter wrestles him down at about the 30-yard line. And that's where Brandywine will have it 1st and 10. Great respect between these two teams. You saw Beerhalter with that affectionate tap on the head of Palmer. I think when you're playing another great player, you tend to show them maybe a little bit more respect.
Yeah, Palmer's had to fight for every inch that he's gotten tonight. I mean, I can see the spurts of talent that he has out there. He just hasn't had any room or any lanes to really get anything going. And he's been able, like I said, have to fight for every single inch that he's had in here tonight.
Brandywine will take on Cassopolis next week, whereas Watervliet will be in action against Dowagiac. So 1st and 10 from the 29. Caden Reith at quarterback, as he has been throughout most of the night here for Brandywine, with the exception of a few snaps taken by Michael Palmer. Reith rolls out on a naked bootleg and runs out of bounds at the 33-yard line, and he took a whack going out of bounds. And seems to be no worse for wear. Picked up 4 on the play, but take another look at this one. And Javier Gutierrez comes over and lays the lumber.
Looks like it was right on that line. Didn't look like it was out of bounds.
So now Michael Palmer will come in at quarterback. Sturgis Trojans start the season with a 15-0 win over Niles. We'll see Scott Shaw's Vikings next week against Buchanan. Here's Palmer on 2nd and 5, and he's got company. They run him out of bounds, and he is able to get back, appears to the line of scrimmage, maybe even a pickup of a yard up to the 35-yard line, which will set up 3rd and 4.
Imagineering Finishing Technologies is a proud supporter of high school athletics. Teamwork is our specialty, working with industry giants like SpaceX and Boeing. For over 60 years, excellence has been our standard, and that won't change. Like the teams in this game, we're always working towards a great finish.
Caden Reith comes back in at quarterback after taking a play off. Play clock down to 2. And Justin Kinsey will take a timeout here. So the timeout for Brandywine is sponsored by Tessa Scheidler of Goosehead Insurance. And a reminder, we've got another doubleheader coming up for you next weekend on TV 46. The Buchanan Bucks will go up to Marion Springs and take on the Niles Vikings. Buchanan had it going on tonight against Saugatuck. Connor Legault with another big game. We'll get to see Mark Fry's team next week, Friday afternoon at 4 and Saturday morning at 11:30. And our Indiana game that week will be from the Northern Lakes Conference. Craig Kaler's Concord Minutemen smarting after being shut out by Elkhart. We'll see what they do to Jimtown on Friday night. And they will take on the 7th-ranked Northwood Panthers, who have their hands full with East Noble in their home opener this week. They'll come back to Andrews Field to open up the NLC season. It's a dandy doubleheader on your home for high school sports, TV 46. Curious to see that Northwood team this year. They've got a lot of skill people coming back.
Yeah, they do. And they had a tight one last week early, and then they kind of just really opened it up. Looked like their offense got going. So, yeah, I'll be really interested to see what that Northwood team is all about.
Going to see some good quarterbacks next week with Connor Legault of Buchanan and Caden Lone of Northwood.
Yep.
Here it's 3rd and 4. Caden Reith looking to throw. Under pressure, throws. It's tipped around and somehow falls harmlessly to the turf.
That's one of those tip drills you work in practice, and tipped a couple times.
So 4th and 4, and definitely what appears to be a punting situation here for the Bobcats. Owen Hewlett has done a very good job punting the football tonight for Brandywine.
Looks like Palmer's going in a quarterback. Looks like they might just go ahead and go for it here on 4th down.
Well, what do you got to lose? It's 35-0 at this point. 4th and 4. Palmer's going to roll right. Can he get away from everybody? Yes, he can. He's got the first down and spinning away. He finally steps out of bounds at the 48-yard line. You never know with that guy.
Yeah, you can see it. You can see that spurt. You can see that energy. You can see the drive that he has, and he's got great ability. It just he hasn't been able to find that opening, and that was a great job of just the work ethic that he has.
Not every team that Brandywine faces this year is going to have the kind of athleticism this Watervliet group has, and Palmer is going to have some nights this season.
Yeah, I agree with you.
1st and 10 from the 48. A justified gamble by Justin Kinsey there. Now it's Palmer under center. This time he's going to roll right and cut inside, pick up about a yard. Nice diving tackle that time by Wyatt Epple as he got him right around the ankles. Epple's a nice little player too.
Yeah, he's been able to really play some solid defense as well. Looks like Palmer again is a little winded. Gonna switch quarterbacks.
Epple's a 6'1", 160-pound junior, so he'll be coming back next year. Of course, next year, and that's a long way away for Watervliet, but next year they got to find somebody to play quarterback because they've been a little spoiled the last few years. 2nd and 9. Caden Reith on the quarterback sneak, and he plows all the way up to the Watervliet 45-yard line. Pickup of 7 on the play. Good surge by that Brandywine offensive line that time. So Brandywine looking at a 3rd and 3 right here, and obviously in 4-down territory at this point of the game.
Yeah, I think the second half, Brandywine has played a lot better and a lot more consistent within their offense. And I think that's one of the key things. And we talked about how it's going to be adjustment for them.
Well, really, their defense has only given up 7 points. The other 7 came on the pick six.
Pick six as well, yeah.
Reith with Sebecki behind him at fullback, but the pitch goes to Brock Dye, and Dye manages to go behind a block and pick up the first down. Dye up to the 42-yard line, and again, one of the better drives of the night here for the Brandywine Bobcats. So Bo Hunt will head down to the sidelines, get ready for our post-game show, sponsored by the St. Joe County Police Department. That'll feature our player of the game interview. I think you got a pretty good guess who he'll be talking to there. Plus, we'll have our electrical workers local 153 electrifying play of the game. Brandywine hoping to get on the scoreboard here in the last 5 minutes of this one. Caden Reith pitches, but we've got whistles blown and flags thrown, and likely an illegal shift. We'll wait for the signal here, and it's illegal participation. Too many men on the field for Brandywine. So that'll be a 5-yard walk-off against the Bobcats. It'll be 1st and 15. You take a look at this Bobcat team, and you can say this for Justin Kinsey's squad. Even here down 35-0, there is no sign of quit from this group. They're trying hard on every play. Caden Reith at quarterback. The pitch here to Brock Dye. Dye cuts it up the field. Nice tackle there by Brandywine to bring him down after a pickup of 6, or by Watervliet, I should say, after a pickup of 6. Coming over and making the stop that time, as we have some new faces in the game. And that time for Watervliet, the stop was made by Reese Boulot. Boulot, a 5'11", 185-pound junior. 2nd and 9, 4 minutes to go in this one. Watervliet about to win its 7th season opener in the last 8 years. Caden Reith rolling out, in trouble, down he goes. Bulldog down that time. Percy Rowe has played a nice game at senior defensive end or linebacker, and he gets the sack there for a loss of 4. It'll be 3rd and 14. Actually, there's been all kinds of great plays by this Watervliet defense tonight, which has kept Brandywine off the scoreboard. And again, the fact that Brandywine playing without its top 2 players on the depth chart at quarterback, certainly a huge factor in this offense tonight. It's Michael Palmer at quarterback here on a quarterback draw. Palmer all the way up past the 30, and Epple finally slings him down at the 29-yard line. But it's another first down for Brandywine after a pickup of 16. And Michael Palmer approaching the 100-yard mark for the night. In fact, he is right at 100 yards for the night. So a great effort by Michael Palmer in defeat tonight. 1st and 10 from the Watervliet 29. You know, the Panthers, who had a defense last year that was called into question, they would really love to start the season with a shutout here. And it's Palmer again carrying tacklers with him up to the 21-yard line.
A gain of 8 yards. It'll be 2nd and 2.
Watervliet did get a shutout defensively last year. That was against Hartford in the 2nd game of the season. Hartford, a team, as we told you, that doesn't field a varsity this year. They just don't have the numbers or the skill level. Down to under 2 minutes to go in this one. Caden Reith hands it off to Carter Sebecki, and Sebecki is tripped up. I don't know if he got the first down or not. Doesn't appear that he did. It'll be 3rd down.
A gain of a yard. 3rd down.
And it has been a long time since a Brandywine team has been shut out. You'd have to go back to October 14th, 2011 against Buchanan for the last time that the Bobcats were blanked. Looking at a 3rd and 1 right here. Caden Reith under center. Reith to Carter Sebecki up the middle. Sebecki couldn't quite get through, but he gets inside the 10 to the 9-yard line. And Sebecki cramping up again. Now this will stop the clock because it's an injury. So the clock stops with 46.7 seconds left as Sebecki is down on the field with an injury. And look at Connor Dye with a crutch, hobbling out there to try to bring some water to his teammate. Dye was supposed to start tonight at quarterback. Obviously has an injury that has disabled him, but he comes firing off the bench to bring out the water. We will take a break with 46.7 seconds left. The lone drama left to see if the Bobcats can get on the scoreboard. They trail 35-0 on 46. Chuck Freeby in the booth, Bo Hunt on the sidelines. 35-0 Watervliet leads it with 46.7 seconds left. And Brandywine will be playing this last 46 seconds with a running clock, seeing if they can get in the end zone and avoid being shut out for the first time in 11 seasons. Michael Palmer is in to take the snap at quarterback, hoping that he can get his team on the scoreboard here. And Watervliet trying to pick up the shutout. Brandywine trying to get proper personnel out on the field. Play clock at 4 as Palmer takes the snap, and there's a flag. Palmer's going to try to bull his way into the end zone, and I think that rugby scrum Finally, did they get in? No, they mark it short of the goal line, but now the officials are going to stop the clock with 33 seconds left. And I'm trying to figure out what the flag is about. The official talking, it seems, to the Brandywine players, but maybe to his fellow officials as well. And it appears the penalty is going to be against Brandywine. It's a false start. It'll cost them 5 yards and move the ball back to the 14-yard line. Now, technically, the rules would, under normal conditions, say that you could take time off the clock here if you were Watervliet, but with the running clock scenario and good sportsmanship, that won't be the case here. Palmer again comes out under center. Could be the final play of the game. Palmer, off a quarterback sneak, has Royce Doherty fall on him at the 10-yard line. And Brandywine, if it hurries, might be able to get off one more play. Caden Reith runs out with it. Brandywine's going to try to get up to the line of scrimmage and get one more play off, see if they can score. Palmer under center, bobbles the snap, and then is knocked down at the 8-yard line, and the Watervliet Panthers are going to begin the 2022 season with a shutout as they beat the Brandywine Bobcats tonight by a count of 35-0. Stick around. Our St. Joe County Police Department postgame show comes your way next with our electrical workers electrifying play of the game. It's all coming up on the 46th game of the week.
Thanks for watching the WHME TV 46 High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by
the Watervliet Panthers celebrating their 7th season opening win in the last 8 years as they blank the Brandywine Bobcats tonight by a count of 35-0. Welcome into the Martin Supermarket broadcast booth. Chuck Freeby high above the fray. Impressive performance by the Panthers tonight, albeit Brandywine was playing without its top 2 quarterbacks on the depth chart. Obviously banged up and had a lot of cramping issues during the game, but give credit to Watervliet. Their defense was able to post a bagel on the scoreboard, and offensively they were sparked by their outstanding quarterback, who put up nearly 255 yards, total yards of offense tonight between his passing and his running. Tyson Williams is standing by down on the field with Bo Hunt.
Well, you've heard his name all game, Tyson Williams. Congratulations, player of the game. What does it mean coming out here on opening night to go for about 200 yards passing, 75 rushing, 2 in the air, two touchdowns on the ground?
It's great, man. Great season opener, and it's away, so that's even better, coming to their place and showing them what Watervliet's about. I know a lot of people doubted us have the past couple of years. Hopefully that this start can keep things going and we can keep doubting other people.
You had a very balanced offense, running and passing. Just talk about your other weapons that you have out there.
Yeah, so our running backs, they're both really young, but they can run the ball hard and they stick to their holes and keep getting as many yards as possible. And then our wide receivers, they're all returning, quick, fast guys, so they know get their routes out and just turn it up.
Yeah, defense had to go against the triple option. The defense did a heck of a job tonight, too.
Yes, I appreciate all of them. Most of them are my D-line or my Hogs on offensive line. So they did a great job just busting up the middle and making them go outside. Outside linebackers were good at just sticking the quarterback, making them pitch it off.
Wins count in Michigan to get in the playoffs. How important was that tonight?
Huge win. Started off strong and just keep going. Hopefully we can get a couple more.
Tyson, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Back to you, Chuck.
Well, you talk about speed. Not just on that Watervliet team, but Bo Hunt showing some speed as he gets back up here to conclude the post-game show. That's an impressive young man.
He is, and just meeting him in person and getting to talk to him a little bit too, he's very poised. I mean, he knows what he's about. He knows what he brings to the table, and he's confident with it.
But he was smart to praise his defense because they provided us with the electrifying play of the night, and that came from Wyatt Epple as the junior stepped in front of a pass in the fourth quarter and was able to get a pick six, intercepting Caden Reed and he could go all the way as he takes it down the sidelines for the score. So Epple supplying us with our electrical workers, local 153 electrifying play of the game. And next week, we come back to the state of Michigan. I'm very anxious to see this rivalry game between Buchanan and Niles, two teams that just flat out don't like each other.
I've been in a few of those in my time, but it's going to be a great game. Getting back up here, we get treated well up here in Michigan, and then it's nice being up here.
Connor Legault, great quarterback for Buchanan, but Scott Shaw, the former Elkhart Memorial coach, and of course a lot of people in Southwest Michigan remember him from his days at Three Rivers coaching Niles. They stumbled in the opener tonight. We'll see if they can bounce back, but that's going to do it for our coverage of this one. And our thanks to our TV46 crew led by our production manager Dean Korsmo and the rest of our passionate men who bring you high school football each and every week. A reminder, we've got college football on the radio. Thursday night, it's Purdue and Penn State at 8 p.m. on 92.1 and 96.9. And Friday night at 8, it's Big Ten action as Illinois visits Indiana on 103.1. And as we told you, next week, another doubleheader. Buchanan and Niles Friday afternoon at 4. Concord and Northwood Friday night at 11. Now for my Hall of Fame partner, Bo Hunt. It's Chuck Freebie. Once again, the final score, Watervliet 35, Brandywine nothing. So long from the state of Michigan.